Mangwanani Mwadelepo, Vukenjani, Klekbaswanawe Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning. I'm going to need to apologize to our MMO Denzel. I didn't get those clicks right. I think it's Klekbas. Yeah, I need to get that correct.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy.
Yeah, no, I had to stop. I had to stop myself. But thank you so much for joining us on Africa Good Morning. We're absolutely honored to be bringing you the news stories on Wednesday, the 22nd of November. You are joined by Ash and Betty and Glenn Norashipura. How are you, Glenn?
I'm doing very well. I'm trying to summon the rain. I don't know if you noticed that I'm wearing blue.
Oh, you're wearing blue?
Yes,
oh, okay,
I'm
wow.
trying to summon the rain. It's really hot here.
And I am the soil, so please just we need the country to, to come together. I think it will come through.
I think it will come through, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, let's get into what you can expect in today's broadcast. The world heads for dangerous temperature rise, a UN report warns. A car plows into supporters of Liberia's president-elect, killing two, says two hospital staff. Now, Sonko's party finds alternative Senegal candidate. We'll also be talking to Arrie Hougaard in South Africa, who'll be filling us in on the latest news over there. Do stay tuned for these and more on Africa Good Morning.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
All right, getting into our top stories. With global temperatures soaring and greenhouse gas emissions reaching unprecedented levels, dramatic climate action is needed to steer the world away from climate change and align it to the objectives of the Paris Agreement, a major UN report has found. The 2023 Emissions Gap Report, released on Monday by the UN Environment Programme, carried a clear message. Unless countries step up climate action and deliver more than promised in their 2030 pledges, the world is heading for a 2.5 to 2.9 degrees Celsius temperature rise above pre-industrial levels. Presenting the report from Nairobi, UNEP Executive Director Inga Anderson said that no person or economy is being left untouched by climate change, underscoring the urgent need to stop setting unwanted records on greenhouse gas emissions, global temperature highs, and extreme weather.
In our next story, a car plowed into a crowd celebrating the election victory of Liberia's president-elect Joseph Boakai in the capital Monrovia on Monday evening, killing two people and injuring around 18 others. Two hospital staff said it was not immediately clear if the incident, which took place outside Boakai's party headquarters, was deliberate or an accident. A video of the aftermath shared on Facebook showed badly injured people sprawled over the road and pavement outside the Unity Party office. Boakai, 78, a former vice president, narrowly defeated President George Weah in the November 14th presidential runoff, securing 50.64% of the votes cast, according to the Election Commission's final results. Weah, a global soccer legend, conceded defeat to Boakai on Friday, ending a presidency where many have grown disillusioned with a lack of improvement in fields such as food security, employment, and electricity supply.
Now, Islamist terrorists attacked a village of Mapate in Muidumbe district in the northern province of Cabo Delgado in Mozambique, according to a report in Monday's issue of the independent news sheet Media Facts. The propaganda channels of the Islamic State terrorist group claimed responsibility for the attack and said they had burnt down 30 houses. Local sources confirmed the attack and the burning of homes, but could not give exact details on any deaths or injuries. Some sources cited Media Facts suggested that the terrorists had beheaded 2 people and kidnapped 11 girls. The girls were abducted in an area of dense bush where they had been undergoing initiation rites.
Now, the party of jailed Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has said it is putting forward an alternative candidate for the presidential election next year. Court rulings have meant that Sonko is unable to run in February. His presidential ambitions suffered a major setback at the weekend after the Supreme Court annulled a lower court's decision ordering his reinstatement on the electoral roll. He has faced a series of legal cases over the past 2 years for charges including libel and rape, which he denies. In July, he was arrested for insurrection and he was struck off the electoral roll, ruling him out of a presidential election next February. The African Party of Senegal for Work Ethics and Fraternity is now proposing its Secretary General Bassirou Diomaye Faye to be its flag bearer.
Now, since 2015, Nigeria has experienced 2 recessions and its economy has been ravaged by vagaries of global oil prices, the COVID-19 pandemic, and Russia's continuing war in Ukraine. In June, the country's debt management office said that the government is servicing debts with at least 73.5% of its revenue, making it a struggle to meet basic responsibilities. Inflation is currently at an 18-year high at 26% in Nigeria as the naira continues to plunge in value against the dollar. Now, the economic realities became grimmer when Bola Tinubu, elected president in February, devalued the naira and removed a decades-long fuel subsidy which had helped driving lower costs. And of course, Nigerian workers' wages have diminished as inflation rises. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning, Israel. 2 things happened. They recalled their ambassador and their embassy is shut down. Of course, the vote for the embassy being shut down was first tabled last week by the EFF in Parliament. And it seems right now that ANC and EFF have collectively decided to close the Israel embassy, with DA having just over 80 votes. Arrie Hougaard will talk to us after the break about that story and more stemming from South Africa. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
All right, it's time for us to talk to Arrie Hougaard in South Africa. How are you, Arrie?
And Glenora, nice to talk from Cape Town. Summertime, heading for Christmas.
Heading for Christmas indeed, and perhaps this is a bit of a slight Christmas gift for democracy, because one of the biggest issues approaching elections across Africa, perhaps the world, is voter apathy. And South Africa seems to be doing a little better in that category because over 500,000 new voters have been registered for the upcoming elections. Tell us more about that, Arrie.
Yes, everybody's getting ready for a big year. 2024 is elections again, every 5 years that happen. So it's important elections for South Africa, and it's good to see activity over the weekend. It's the first one. There will be more of those opportunities, and people can also do that online. But 568,000 people registered. That's new registered voters. So mostly aged 16 to 29. It's about 78%. In South Africa, you can register as a voter from 16, but you can only vote from 18, but they get you into the system. So not all of those youngsters can vote by next year. But importantly, there's still 14 million voters that's eligible to vote, that's not registered. So they're trying to chase them and trying to get them all on the voters register. So that's important for everyone to cast their vote in an important election next year.
Right.
Now, getting into your next story, yesterday South Africa hosted a virtual BRICS summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin also present. Now, one agenda item was the current Israel-Hamas war. Can you get into that?
Yes, it was done online, and it was the message that came from that is that the group, all the members that was present there, accused Israel of war crimes and genocide. So that's a very touchy topic at the moment. I see in the international news that there's a four-day ceasefire that was announced. That is good news. But it's a war that's been going on for 75 years. So it's a complex situation. It was triggered by the 7 October the invasion of Hamas into Israeli land, killing 1,200 people, mostly civilians. So retaliation from Israel. So it is a tricky situation. That is President Putin. He was also online. So also the president of China, President Xi, that also quite verbal against what's happening and accusing Israel of war crimes and genocide. So President also at the BRICS meeting, interestingly enough, was invited. They're going to be members from 2024 is Saudi Arabia, also Argentina, Egypt, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, all on that call, hosted by South African president. So it was a message that came out that was expected, but it is the official, let's say, message from all of them present is that they see it as war crimes and genocide.
Yes, indeed. Just a couple of things to point out there. Argentina does have an incoming president who was voted in this week who is very much right-wing and has some sweeping changes he wants to make. So I'm wondering if that's going to affect their participation in BRICS. We'll certainly find that out later. And of course, the Israeli-Hamas war. Thank you for pointing out that it's been going on for decades, 75 years. And this was just another development in an ongoing conflict. However, Israel has recalled its ambassador to South Africa, and news just in, I think, early this morning, late last night, the motion that was tabled in Parliament had about 246 votes for the closure of the Israeli embassy, coming from the EFF and ANC combined, with DA and the other parties making up the 80 or so votes which were against the shutting down of the Israeli embassy. Could you give us some more on that?
Yes, you're 100% correct. And that motion you talked about is the National Assembly. That was a motion tabled by the EFF it's a motion to have the embassy removed in South Africa, Israeli embassy. That it was there's an amendment made by the ANC saying, well, it is let's do that until there's peace again, then they can come back again. So that is on the table at the moment. Just the National Assembly can recommend that. It must be confirmed by Parliament now, so that's a recommendation. So it's going through the motion. But what happened in the meantime anyway is that Israel recalled the ambassador. That's the ambassador is Mr. Ili Bayot Selkovsky. So he's back to Israel. He was recalled for consultation, quote unquote, by the Israeli government. So lots of movement there, but the motion was passed at the National Assembly, so there's movement there.
Well, getting into your final story, state-owned entity Transnet currently experience a worsening situation in Durban Harbour, where it is able to walk away a massive container backlog. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's concerning for the economy. It's the season now with summer fruits. All year round, there's fruits going out, exports, South African exports. But the problem is there's 96 vessels outside SA ports waiting to be offloaded. So it's a massive problem. It is 71,000 containers that's stuck in Durban. So mostly of the summer fruits up in the northern part of South Africa, oranges, etc., they all need to go out many different fruits need to go out of the Durban port specifically. The reason for the delays is obviously taxing weather. There was weather problems at one stage as well, but the most challenging factor is aging infrastructure, and that is not good enough upkeep. At the moment, it's just 2,500 containers being handled a day. It used to be closer to 4,000 per day. So it's ahead of the trade season, so it's not good for South Africa. Currently in Cape Town, they're making extra plans as well, maybe to assist, but there's also a bit of a backlog in Cape Town. But Transnet really under big pressure infrastructure-wise, older equipment and not being productive enough to handle all the needs there. So hopefully they can sort that out. We know about the financial challenges of Transnet. Now the operational challenges are very visible, so hopefully they can fix that. The important time of the year now.
Thank you very much, Arrie. That was truly a packed section of news, but thank you for disseminating all that information for us and, of course, bringing it to the fore for our Africa Good Morning viewers.
Thank you. Nice talking, and blessings from Cape Town.
Blessings from Cape Town indeed. It's nice to see Arrie not stressed. On Saturday, his team Liverpool plays Manchester City. I'll be interested in seeing his countenance then, but, I'm with Liverpool for this one. So, after green hydrogen's emergence, Africa has become the hot prom date. And in economic news, we find out how Germany plans to woo the continent.
But before that, we get into the weather.
Exactly.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
All right, let's talk green hydrogen. Germany will invest 4 billion euros in green energy projects in Africa until 2030, Chancellor Olaf Scholz said on Monday, noting these could in turn help Europe's largest economy achieve its own transition to carbon neutrality. Germany will need to import large quantities of green hydrogen going forward, including from Africa, if it is to achieve its goal of net zero emissions by 2045, he said at a German-African business forum in Berlin. The forum preceded a summit of the G20 Compact with Africa that aims to drum up investment in the world's poorest but fastest growing continent by coordinating the development agendas of reform-minded countries and identifying business opportunities.
Still on Germany's investment in Africa, in our next story, President William Ruto has said that he's aiming to secure opportunities for Kenyans to find employment in Germany amid a worsening unemployment crisis in his country. He made the comments shortly before departing for Europe for a G20 meeting. More than a dozen African leaders are heading to the German capital, Berlin, to seek economic opportunities, including labor export deals and increased investments in Africa's economy. Germany's chancellor was in Kenya about 3 to 4 months ago. I'm traveling to Germany tonight because he promised us that we would secure 200,000 jobs. I must go follow up on those opportunities.
Please do follow up, because speaking from a former German colony, you're going to need a lot of work to try and get them to allow 200,000 Kenyans. And, you know, hopefully it works, because the image that Germany has been projecting is that, I mean, if you're making so much inroad into Africa, I'm sure you're accepting of Africa making inroad into your space. We're going to head to the economic indicators just before Arrie Hougaard takes off his jacket and brings us the sport.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news first. It is men's team tennis. It is the Davis Cup quarterfinals taking place this week, and the finals being played on Sunday. All take place in Malaga in Spain. It is the defending champions of 2022 Canada that will start their campaign against Finland, and they again have Felix Auger-Aliassime as one of their star players. It is team tennis. It is 2 singles and 1 doubles match to determine the winner. Last year's finalist that lost in the final, that is Australia, will play on Wednesday against the Czech Republic. And then on Thursday, it is Italy, one of the favourites, playing against the Netherlands. And also on Thursday, it is England that's got a difficult task to play against Serbia. Serbia will have Novak Djokovic in their team, and that will be a strong contender. Obviously difficult to beat him, the world #1 player. England also battling at the moment. They have injuries. They without Dan Evans and also the experienced Andy Murray, also not able to play in the quarterfinals. The semi-finals will be closer to the weekend, and then the finals will be played on Sunday. Moving on to motor racing news, Formula One motor racing news, and this weekend coming, it will be the last race of the 2023 season. It was a season dominated by Red Bull Honda, to the extent that they've won 20 races and only one race was won by another team. That was Ferrari that won one race. That was Carlos Sainz that won the 15th week. He won in Singapore. The other 20, it is Red Bull that dominated. 18 wins for Max Verstappen and then also 2 wins for Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen crowned as a season winner quite a few weeks ago already. He's at the moment on 549 points, way clear of his teammate Sergio Perez on 273. And then Lewis Hamilton is third on 232 in his Mercedes-Benz. So lots to race for in the Constructors' Championship. For second position at the moment, it is Red Bull Honda on 822 points. They're way in front and winning that comfortably. And it is Mercedes-Benz on 392, and just 4 points behind them, it is Ferrari on 388. So all to race for at Abu Dhabi. That is the next race, or the final race. It will be in Abu Dhabi this coming weekend. And that will be at the Yas Marina circuit. And to close off today's international sports news, it is golf news, and it's golf news from the initiative of Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. It's a virtual golf competition. It's a new competition that they wanted to launch on the 9th of January 2024, but it's been pushed out by a year to 2025, and that is because the roof of the facility collapsed, and that was because of a power outage. So it's not possible to fix it in time for the launch in January 2024. It's a virtual golf competition, and it will be 6 teams of 4 each, and most of the top 20 players in the current world rankings confirmed to play there. In 15, in fact, of the top 20 in the men's world rankings will be playing in this virtual golf competition. One notable absentee is John Rahm. He was meant to play. He did confirm in the beginning, and then later on said that he's not able to play because of scheduling, and there's a strong indication that he might join Live Golf, but that's all speculation at the moment. So then the virtual golf competition of Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy only starting in 2025, and it will all take place from then in Palm Beach Gardens, that is in Florida. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Thank you for staying with Africa. Good morning. Let's get into the highlights from the broadcast. World heads for dangerous temperature rise, UN report warns. Car ploughs into supporters of Liberia's president-elect, killing 2, say hospital staff. Schultz pledges greater investment in Africa's green energy sector.
And with that, we've come to the end of our show. Do remember that Africa Good Morning screens tomorrow, same time, same place.
Yes.
From me,
she was going to talk about the repeat.
Yes, I was going to talk about the repeat.
Check it out on YouTube, Namibia Media Holdings, especially if you want to go through, the show, pause, reflect, debate. It's up to you. The show is always available on Namibia Media Holdings, oneup2.com.
And also on our social media pages, that is Namibian Sun, Republicans, Erongo, and so much more. From me, Glenn Rashifura.
And me, Ashwin Berry. Sura Jaganaka.